Sorry guys, my normal laptop is broken. I have to go with this one. The recording start now. Okay. How do I share these things? Share screen. Okay. Okay. So okay guys, sorry for the hiccups. I have to go with this with my tab instead of my normal laptop because I have a difficulties with my shutdown in my other laptop. So I don't know. I'm trying to using an old laptop and it ends up that the old laptop is not working, is not cooperating in terms of the microphone. Okay. So this will be the week 11 or for next week. I think we have Wesak Day holiday on that's supposed to be on this Saturday. So that will probably affect our lecture on Monday. So that will be done on Thursday, basically. Okay. So in this week 11, we continue our discussions on the method of lines, which is the solutions of the dynamic distributed model, the transient distributed model. I'm sorry about the background sound, guys. My neighbor is doing some construction work, basically. So last week we have discussed about the method of lines in the use we use it on the we apply that thing onto the partial differential equations to convert those into the ODE, basically, right? So in this regard, the heat we in the first example, it's a simple example which we use a Dirichlet boundary condition. So meaning we just substitute the value of the dependent variables in the edge points in the left and the right. So we don't need to use a method of the fictitious points. But the other things that we need to do is basically we can use another example for the von Neumann problem. Okay, so that will be more general, meaning that we have to also discretize the boundary conditions. If we want to discretize the boundary condition, then it has to go into another different example. So these are the examples that we discussed today, which is the heat conductions in a rod. Okay, so these are the examples. So imagine if we have the unsteady state heat conductions in a long rod. In here is basically given in this figure 1. Okay, in this figure 1, that we have this form, which is the del T over the derivative of the temperature with respect to the time is equal to the thermal diffusivity. The thermal diffusivity in here incorporates the thermal conductivity and also the thermal conductivity and also the what do you call that thing? The heat capacity, I think, if not wrong. Okay, and then multiplied by the second order derivative with respect to the z condition. So the z conditions in here is only in one coordinate. So if you take the one on the wall in here, basically this is normally the positions where z is equal 0. And then as we go out into the end, then these positions will be equal to L, basically, okay? So now we have two boundary conditions. The first boundary conditions is basically it's called the Robin boundary conditions, which is the derivative, the second order derivative with respect to the coordinate z is equal to T minus the inlet temperature at z equal 0. So at these particular positions in here, okay? And then the second boundary conditions will be the first order derivative of T with respect to z will be equal to 0 at z equal L. So in here, we would like to approach this problem using 5 internal grid points, okay? So let me move into the next slides. You can let me know if you have any questions or anything that you want to ask. Okay. I just go into the next discussions basically. Okay. The first step will be to define the mesh. So the boundary conditions mean that the values of the boundaries are unknown and they become variables. So we define a uniform grid of n internal grid points together with two boundary points. The two boundary points is at 0 and at n plus 1. And then we want to make a center difference approximations of the diffusion term. The second step will be to define the discretization matrix. So in here we have 5 internal grid points and 1 boundary grid point at each ends. So we have the left end points and then we have also the right end points. So we define a help matrix ILO, which we use it to make the required matrix. The third step in here will be to discretize the boundary condition. Okay, so because we have the first order derivative in here, okay, the boundary condition is generalized Newman or Robin, and it is discretized as these equations in here. Okay, so we basically convert the derivative term in here to become the finite difference term. Okay, and then this one is applicable at z equals 0. So meaning that this t in here will be equal to the t naught. Therefore, we will know that t minus 1 will be equal to t1 minus 2h divided by alpha multiplied by t naught minus t in. Okay, so this then basically what we can do is we can convert the value of the t minus 1 with respect to the non-values, which is the t1 and then t naught minus t in here. So this will be used in the ordinary differential equations for the boundary grid point at z equal 0. Okay, so I think I noticed that I make a mistakes probably in here, I think. Okay, so this one I need to change this one. This is instead of the second order derivative with respect to z, I should make it into the first order derivative, right? Because that's the one that we're using in here. Okay, so I do make a mistake as well. So you guys need to check again my slides in case I overlook something. Okay, so the third step will be discretize the other boundary conditions. The boundary conditions at z equal n plus 1 is a homogeneous Newman. So we can convert it to become these equations. Tn plus 2 minus Tn divided by 2h becomes 0. So in essence, Tn plus 2 will be equal to Tn. Okay, so we use it. What essentially we will get is these equations in here, which is dTn plus 1 over dt will be equal to alpha multiplied by 2Tn minus 2Tn plus 1 divided by h squared. Okay, so these are the solutions in terms of the MATLAB that we can implement to solve these things, and the solutions will basically what we will get in here is a matrix or a vectors of the ODE systems. So if we have basically a 5 in there, we have an internal grading point of 5. So in here we will have a matrix of it's supposed to be 7, right? If not wrong. Okay. So this one is the function file that defines the ordinary differential equations. And then the next one in here is where we use the driver to solve the particular problem. We're going to solve it using an ODE 15S. Okay, so if we do it like that, what we run this thing, then we have 6 points: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is for 5 internal grid points. Okay, if we use a 20 internal grid points, then we will have 22 points in here. Okay, the one on the right hand side, basically. So we if we want to get the higher resolutions, we can use a more internal grid points. Okay, so we can also plot it in terms of the 3D temperature plots. Okay, which is one coordinate will be the time, the other coordinate will be the rod length, and then the vertical axis will be the temperature. So we can produce a better resolutions if we use a higher internal grid points. So these 3D points are quite useful if we go into a problem that involve 2 different variables. For example, our independent variables in here is the time and the rod length. Okay, we can also plot it in a different perspective. For example, instead of putting the time and the rod length in here, we put in the rod length first and then the time in here. Okay, so that will be an example for that thing. And then if I go out from here, okay, what I give in the week 11 additional materials is basically these things in here, right? Okay, if I possible to rotate these things or not? I'm not too good with this tab. How to rotate these things? I'm not too sure how to rotate, but this additional materials is basically giving you the conversions into each of the grid points. So in here we use 5 internal grid points, right? So for this particular positions, basically you change the partial differential equations, the ordinary differential equation term on the right hand side, we make it into the finite difference form. Okay, once we do that thing, then we substitute the boundary conditions into the first grid point and then into the last grid points in here. Okay, then what follow is that at the end, then we basically get this particular matrix. The one on the right hand side in here is the matrix where we have unknown. We have t-1 and t7. So by substituting it using this particular method in here, guys, then we can convert it into the matrix below in here. Okay, so that's what is executed by the MATLAB code is the matrix in the bottom in here on the right hand side in here. Sorry, I try to rotate these things, but I don't think I can find a simple menu to do that thing. Sorry, so you have to bear with me with this with this technical problem, guys. I'm sorry with that. Okay, so that will be the examples, the second example for the dynamic distributed model. Then another example in here will be a conceptual example. Let's say we have a diffusion in a sphere. So if we have unsteady state diffusion in a sphere, we can model it in terms of the one space dimension, which is the sphere radius. Okay, so we have the initial conditions and the boundary conditions. The initial conditions will be the concentrations at every radius at time t equals 0 will be equal to the C0. The boundary conditions will be the symmetry conditions. So the derivative of the concentration with respect to radius will be equal to 0 at r equal 0. Okay. The second boundary conditions will be the diffusivity multiplied by the first derivative of concentration with respect to r is equal to the k multiplied by c minus cb at r equal r. Okay, if you will ask me later on how can I get derive these things, then this will be derived in transfer phenomena in more detail later. But basically we in here we just show you how to solve the particular problem without much emphasis on the model formulation and the derivation. Okay, so this one can be rewritten like this. Remember that the first derivative, remember that the terms within the brackets is containing two terms. The first term is the r square. The second term is d del c over del r. So meaning that you have to use a chain rule. So if you have the derivative of the u and v will be u dv plus v du. So this is why this particular term in the first in the brackets will become two terms in here because you are using a chain rule. So if further you process these two further terms, you become this term in here. Okay, so this parabolic partial differential equations can be discretized using a centered difference. So in essence, this first term will become this term in here on the right hand side. The second term will become this term in here. So in the complete partial differential equations, you will have this particular term in here. Okay, so then next, the boundary conditions at r equal can be discretized as follow. This will be how you discretize the boundary conditions at r equal r. And then we have a bit of complications in here, because when you take this limit at r approaching zeros, then you divide 2 by 0, which will become infinite. Therefore, you have to use a L'Hopital rule. Okay, so you differentiate the numerator, the denominator term, and also at the same time you differentiate the denominator term. So the limit at r approaching 0 of this particular term will be equal to the 2 multiplied by the second order derivative of c with respect to r. So then the partial differential equations becomes for the grid point at the center will become this. So with this applications of the method of the fictitious point for these boundary conditions, okay, the boundary conditions that r equals 0, and also for the boundary conditions that r equal r, and then with this partial differential equations that has been converted into a finite difference form, then we can solve this particular problem of the diffusion in sphere. Okay, so that's where we have this one. This completes the method of the line. You will have this dCO over dt, that the grid point at r equals 0, and then in the middle points you will have this dCi over dt, and for the point at the outer you will have the last one. The first one is for the at r equals 0. The one at the center is for all the grid points, internal grid points. The one at the bottom is at r equal r, or at the surface of the sphere, basically. Okay, so I think that will be all the materials that I have for this week. And like I mentioned in the announcement, it's basically, so there will be a take-home assignment this Friday on your materials from, as I specified, I think on the last week. I give you 4 hours and 30 minutes for that, for you to do the take-home assignment too. So that will be an extra 30 minutes compared with last time, compared with your take-home assignment 1. Okay. Any questions regarding today's material? I know that the material is not much, and then the one for the next week one will be on the process optimization. So basically we have covered everything related with the process modeling. Okay, so I go back here again. So we go back to the process modeling. So we have covered all the process modeling material. We have covered the steady state LAM model. We have covered the steady state distributed model. We have covered the transient LAM model. We have also covered the transient distributed model. Okay, so for 11 weeks we have covered all the different models that is need to be covered for the process modeling, and we will go a little bit into the process optimization next week, hopefully on Thursday. Okay, but of course the coverage will not be as depth as we cover the process modeling, because the process optimization itself is also a big area in itself. Okay, so meaning that I cannot really cover everything for the process optimization, but rather it's going to be an introductions for your knowledge of the process optimizations. So how is everybody doing with your project 2? Is it good? Everybody is doing well with your project 2, guys? Alvin, Amanda, Clarence, Daniel, James, Jason, Jonathan, Juliana, Chising, Michael, Taha, Selena, Tiffany, you see any questions? Wong Yo, Weising, your process control is doing well. You guys have no problem with the process control as well. I assume Dr. Vignesh is doing good job on on his remaining teaching, right? And it's guys, I don't want to add much more materials into this. This is already like, I only have remaining 2 weeks, so this is the week before my last lecture, and that lecture on the process modeling will be mostly on the process, mostly on the process optimization. So it's very good, Clarence, hearing that Dr. Vignesh is doing well on the process control. I'm sure he gives so much effort on delivering his lecture. I'm sure of that. So I think probably for your junior next year, he will be handling the process control while I go back into my technical process modeling, basically. So next week, basically, you will have a process. No, I mean this week you will have a process control online quiz, right? And then also you will have the process modeling take-home assignment 2. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else again that I would like to talk with you. Anything that you want to? Is it on the same day? Is it on the same day? Let me check. If it is on the same day, then I think I will move the quiz to weekend then. The time, is it clash or not? The time is it clash or not, guys? The time, is it clash or not? Not clash. You guys being okay with that thing, right? Should be no problem, right? Huh? Okay, no problem, or do you guys wants me to change it into the next day? Huh? If not clashing, that should be no problem, right? One is just, it's interrelated anyway. Should be okay, right? Because online quiz is only testing your concepts on the it should not go into as deep as the take-home assignment, so that should be fine, I guess. And I give you a little bit time extra for the process modeling. Go back again into the last week lecture where I give you a tips that you may want to refresh your things on the on the algorithm or the manual calculations for the method that we show in the beginning, such as bisection method, regular falsi, for example, and then probably something related with those can come out, or Range-Kutta Euler method. Okay, go into the development of the distributed model, try to understand how the distributed model is being derived. Okay, and then you want to go into the concepts of the matrix, how you basically formulate the matrix. If you know a particular differential equations, how you gonna format it into matrix. I will not test the MATLAB part of the derivations or the code, but it's gonna be only limited to the mathematical part. It's almost the same like what you did on your take-home assignment 1. Okay. So if there is no questions, then I think that will be my lecture for today. And I'm sorry that I have these hiccups on my side. I don't know why.